Casper wasn't just a sweet ghost story. It was a movie that changed Hollywood in ways most people don't even realize. Released in 1995, this family film mixed humor, heart, and groundbreaking technology to bring everyone's favorite friendly ghost to life. But behind the cute character and spooky mansion were tons of weird, fascinating, and sometimes shocking details that most fans never knew. From major Hollywood legends sneaking into cameos to technology that changed cinema forever, this movie is full of secrets. So today, we're breaking down 20 weird facts about Casper that will completely change the way you see this childhood classic. Fact number 1. The first feature-length film with a fully CGI lead. Casper wasn't just another kid's movie, it was the very first film in history to feature a completely CGI lead character. That's right. Before Gollum in Lord of the Rings, before Jar Jar Binks, even before Toy Story hit theaters, Casper was blazing the trail. The animators had to invent techniques on the spot to make him glow, float, and show emotions. It took months to get simple scenes right because nobody had ever tried something like this before. Without Casper, the digital characters we see everywhere today might have arrived years later. Fact number 2. Steven Spielberg was involved behind the scenes. Steven Spielberg wasn't just attached to the movie as a producer through his company Amblin Entertainment. He was actively involved in shaping how Casper would look and feel on screen. Spielberg gave feedback directly to the animators, especially focusing on Casper's eyes and expressions to make sure the character came across as warm and lovable, not creepy. He also suggested a few playful touches that made Casper more relatable. His fingerprints are all over the movie, even if his name wasn't front and center. Fact number 3. The mansion was almost a character itself. Whipstaff Manor, the spooky mansion in Casper, wasn't just a set. It was a massive, carefully designed environment meant to feel alive. The production team built huge, detailed sets that allowed cameras to move smoothly through long, sweeping shots. Every hallway, staircase, and hidden door was designed to feel like it had its own story. Many people who visited the set said it felt like stepping into a real haunted mansion. This level of detail gave the movie a richness you don't always see in family films. Fact number 4. Christina Ricci was only 14. Christina Ricci played Kat, the human lead, when she was just 14 years old. Despite her young age, she carried much of the emotional weight of the movie, acting opposite a character that wasn't even physically there. Ricci later admitted it was difficult to imagine Casper during filming since she often had to stare at empty space or tennis balls as stand-ins. But her natural talent and maturity made her performance feel real. Many fans agree that her grounded performance kept the film from becoming just another silly ghost comedy. Fact number 5. Bill Pullman had to improvise with nothing. Bill Pullman, who played Kat's father, Dr. Harvey, had one of the toughest jobs. He had to act alongside ghosts that weren't really there, and often improvise his reactions. The ghostly trio scenes were especially challenging because Pullman had to time his lines and physical comedy perfectly with effects that would be added months later. Sometimes he would literally be wrestling with air on set, guided only by directions from animators. Looking back, Pullman joked that it was like doing theater with invisible clowns. Fact number 6. Casper's voice actor was kept a secret. Casper's sweet and friendly voice came from actor Malachi Pearson, but here's the twist. The studio originally wanted to keep his identity hidden. They thought that giving the ghost a real name would ruin the magic for kids, so Pearson was hardly mentioned in promotions. Even more interesting, some scenes were recorded multiple times with different actors to test which voice felt the most gentle and innocent. In the end, Pearson's natural softness won over the team. It shows how much thought went into making Casper feel more like a friend than a spooky ghost. Fact number 7. The ghostly trio were based on classic comedy teams Stretch, Stinky, and Fatso. Casper's mischievous uncles weren't just random characters. Their personalities were inspired by classic comedy groups like The Three Stooges and even Old Abbott and Costello routines. Animators studied slapstick humor to capture the chaotic, over-the-top energy of the trio. Each ghost's design and behavior was carefully tuned to make them instantly recognizable. Stretch as the bossy leader, Stinky with gross jokes, and Fatso as the lovable fool. The trio became so popular that for some fans, they even overshadowed Casper himself. Fact number 8. Tons of A-list cameos were hidden inside. One of the most surprising things about Casper is how many celebrity cameos are tucked into the movie. Dan Aykroyd shows up as his Ghostbusters character, Dr. Ray Stantz, saying, "Who you gonna call?" "Somebody else." Even Clint Eastwood and Mel Gibson appear briefly in a mirror gag scene. These cameos weren't just for laughs. They were Spielberg's way of rewarding sharp-eyed fans. It also gave Casper a meta, playful energy, proving that this was a movie for adults as much as it was for kids. Fact number 9. The emotional Casper becomes human. Scene almost got cut. One of the most memorable moments in the movie is when Casper temporarily becomes human to dance with Kat. But did you know that scene was almost deleted? Some studio executives argued that turning Casper into a boy would break the rules of the story. Richard Richer, the director, fought hard to keep it, believing it was the heart of the movie. Fans still remember the scene for its bittersweet beauty, especially because it gave Kat and Casper one perfect, magical moment together. Without it, the film would have felt far less emotional. Fact number 10. Casper's backstory was shockingly dark. For a family film, Casper's origin story is surprisingly sad. He was once a boy who died of pneumonia after playing out in the cold. The script originally explored this in even more detail, showing him slowly realizing he had passed away. Universal worried it would be too upsetting for children, so they toned it down. But even in the final version, Casper's backstory gives the film a haunting emotional weight. It's part of what makes the movie so unique. It blends lighthearted comedy with genuine tragedy, and that's just the first half. If you thought these facts were surprising, the next 10 are on a whole different level. From actors nearly quitting to groundbreaking effects that almost broke the studio, things are about to get shocking. So stick around, and hey, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button because the next facts will change the way you look at Casper forever. Fact number 11. Christina Ricci didn't like the movie. It may shock you, but Christina Ricci, who played Kat, has admitted in interviews that she doesn't actually like Casper. She was only 14 at the time and later called her performance terrible. Ricci explained that acting opposite empty spaces and CGI placeholders was exhausting and confusing, especially for someone so young. Despite her self-criticism, fans still adore her role because she brought warmth and charm to the movie. Ironically, even though she doesn't like watching it, her performance became a huge part of why the film is remembered so fondly. Fact number 12. The ghost effects nearly bankrupted the production. Creating Casper and the ghostly trio was insanely expensive for 1995. The special effects budget ballooned to tens of millions of dollars, which was considered outrageous at the time. Some executives even suggested scaling back the ghosts' screen time to save money, but Spielberg refused, saying the ghosts were the movie. The studio doubled down, pushing the limits of technology and finances. In the end, the investment paid off. Audiences were blown away by how real the ghosts looked, proving that bold risks could push Hollywood forward. Fact number 13. The movie helped shape DreamWorks. Here's a hidden legacy. Casper actually played a role in the early development of DreamWorks Studios. Many of the animators who worked on Casper's CGI later moved over to DreamWorks to build their animation division. Techniques created for Casper were directly applied to future films like Shrek and The Prince of Egypt. So in a way, this kids' ghost movie helped spark the rise of one of Hollywood's biggest animation powerhouses. Without Casper, DreamWorks might not have had the same head start in the industry. Fact number 14. A prequel and spin-offs quickly followed. Most people forget this, but Casper was such a success that Universal rushed to expand it into a mini-franchise. A direct-to-video prequel called Casper, A Spirited Beginning came out in 1997, followed by Casper Meets Wendy in 1998, which starred a very young Hilary Duff. Although these movies didn't reach the same level of popularity, they kept Casper alive as a cultural icon. To this day, many kids from the late 90s grew up watching these sequels on VHS more than the original movie. Fact number 15. The famous theme song almost didn't happen. One of the most magical parts of Casper is its emotional theme music, especially the lullaby like Remember Me This Way, sung by Jordan Hill. But did you know the studio originally didn't want to include a song at all? They thought it would distract from the film's emotional tone. Composer James Horner pushed back, arguing that music was key to making Casper feel more human and relatable. His score ended up being one of the most memorable aspects of the movie. Fans still remember him. Fact number 16. Casper's house was a real build, not just CGI. While most people assume the Whipstaff Manor was pure movie magic, large sections of the mansion were actually built as full-scale sets. The production team constructed towering staircases, long hallways, and massive rooms to make the world feel real for the actors. The physical sets gave weight to Casper's ghostly antics, blending seamlessly with the digital effects. This mix of real and digital environments was cutting edge at the time, and set the stage for how Hollywood would handle big fantasy films for years to come. Fact number 17. There were plans for a Casper 2. Here's something fans rarely know. Universal actually wanted a direct sequel to the original Casper movie, with Christina Ricci and Bill Pullman returning. Scripts were drafted, and early production discussions even happened, but scheduling conflicts and the rising costs of CGI killed the idea. Instead, the studio shifted to cheaper spin-offs and cartoons. Imagine if Ricci had reprised her role in a full theatrical sequel. We might be talking about Casper as a franchise giant today, rather than just a nostalgic favorite. Fact number 18. The Ghostly Trio had a hidden origin story. Stretch, Stinky, and Fatso are mostly played for laughs. But did you know the writers originally drafted a backstory for them? Early scripts suggested they were Casper's uncles when they were alive. But Universal thought the details were too dark for kids. Instead, the movie left their origin vague, which actually made them more mysterious. The lack of explanation turned them into fan favorites. Audiences kept guessing about who they were, and that curiosity added depth to characters who might have just been comic relief. Fact number 19. Steven Spielberg directed one secret scene. Even though Brad Silberling was the official director, Steven Spielberg himself directed one short but key moment. It's the cameo where Dr. Harvey, played by Bill Pullman, looks into a mirror and sees himself transform into different celebrities. Spielberg thought the gag wasn't landing and personally stepped in to direct it. The scene ended up being one of the funniest and most memorable moments in the whole film. It's a rare case of a Hollywood legend quietly shaping a kids' movie in the background. Fact number 20. Casper became a Halloween icon. After the movie's release, Casper wasn't just a character anymore. He became a symbol of Halloween. Costumes, lunchboxes, posters, toys, and even McDonald's Happy Meals carried Casper's face for years. October became Casper season, with the movie re-airing on TV every Halloween. Even today, kids who weren't alive in 1995 discover the film every spooky season, proving that this friendly ghost managed to outlive his movie and become a lasting tradition. So there you have it, Casper, 1995. 20 weird facts you didn't know. From groundbreaking CGI to hidden Hollywood secrets, this movie is more than just a kid's ghost story. It's a piece of film history that shaped technology, inspired sequels, and carved out a permanent spot in our Halloween traditions. And if you thought these facts were wild, just wait. The next movies we're covering will blow your mind even more. So hit that subscribe button, drop a comment with your favorite Casper memory. And remember, ghosts may fade, but classics like this never die.